Greetings from Carbondale. Hello, I'm Dena Hahn, the Tourism and Special Events Coordinator for the City of Carbondale.
And I'm Eva Fisher, the Public Relations Officer for the City of Carbondale.
And together we are called DEVA. We're here to bring you Greetings from Carbondale, a brand new podcast all about the heart of Carbondale, Illinois.
Yes, we'll be your guides for wherever these new adventures take us to, share the stories of all the people and places, organizations, and all the cool things that make this community so unique.
We're joining you live from downtown Carbondale in the Downtown Entertainment District. Mm-hmm. We're here to talk about none other than your Carbondale folks here.
Yes.
And we're really here just to shine a light on all the amazing things that are happening in your local community.
Yeah, we've, been in our roles here at the city for a fairly short amount of time, and we've got to start telling stories in a myriad of different ways through our social media, just from, talking to people, sharing these stories face to face on the street, through the radio, through news interviews, etc. And we wanted to launch a podcast to be able to start diving a little more deeply into some of these stories. Everything we mentioned before that is kind of short form. With a podcast, you can really expand that. And so we figured we'd start with us. We'll be our own guinea pigs here.
Yeah, and honestly, with the excitement of this week, we are celebrating 618, our region. And so we wanted to kick off this series, none other than the 618 day, so June 18th here, so that we can really allow folks to get an insider look as to all the things that are moving and grooving here in Carbondale. Yeah. So with us starting about ourselves, we thought we'd take the time to give a little introduction about both Eva and I's backgrounds, maybe how we got started here in Carbondale and what led us to this current position with the City of Carbondale.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you like to kick things off, Eva?
Okay, sure. Since I was indeed born and raised, well, not quite here in Carbondale. I was born in Carbondale, indeed. But yeah, I grew up in Heron, and I went to SIU for musical theater, and spent many years away, but always drawn back to Carbondale. And I'll back up to in that time of my youth growing up in Heron, great little town, but Carbondale just, felt like the big city.
Oh, absolutely.
It was so exciting to come to. I'd always have different birthday parties and stuff. I don't know if you remember QQ Bubble Tea on the Strip.
I do. That was here when I came to school.
I had lots of birthday parties there, which was fantastic. Anyways, getting into the weeds already of my life here in Southern Illinois. But yeah, I went to SIU for musical theater. I thought that I was gonna go away for school, and then I started doing the high school summer shows as part of that McLeod Summer Playhouse series. They'd work with Art Space 304, do the ASHTIP, all Southern High School Theater productions.
So cool.
And I just fell in love with all the people who worked at SIU. They would help out with those productions. And I was like, okay, why would I want to go anywhere else? These people are incredible. And I knew they put on incredible productions. So yeah, stuck around and did theater for a million years out on the road and random cities all over. And I kept going to places that reminded me of Southern Illinois. I went and did this production up in Northern Indiana, and I went and worked at this theater for a few years out in the southeastern part of Virginia, and toured all around the southeast, and lots of similar places, kind of rural coal country and such, with these little towns popped up all in between. And everywhere reminded me of home, but it just wasn't home.
Of course.
So then I finally actually came back home close to about 6 years ago now. And I didn't know I was moving back home. How it goes. That's the Carbondale vortex. You don't know that you're coming back.
Always.
Fully.
Always come back.
And next thing you know, you own a home in Carbondale, and you work for the city, and you have a couple cats, and you have this whole community. So yeah, that's how it happened for me. I came back and did a lot of odd ins and jobs. I nannied, which was great. I just formed this whole, secondary family here in Carbondale. And really immersed myself into the music scene here. I play in several different bands, and I met my partner, Max and Tinny, and we've been together for the past 5 years now. And yeah, like I said, next thing I knew, I kept saying like, oh, I'm just here for a while. And I'm like,
So funny.
no, I'm here. So then, yeah, fast forward to about a year and a half, close to 2 years ago now, we had started to get to know each other just from out and about, the music scene,
Yep.
the festival scene.
Oh yeah.
And we were walking around the Shawnee Cave Amphitheater. You told me you were starting this job and that you're looking for a PR person if I knew anybody. And I said, well, I think I would like to give that a try.
I mean, the rest is pretty much history from there, right?
Exactly.
Oh, so
Yeah.
fun.
Now, here I am, and it's such it's been a whirlwind and an honor. It's been really exciting. You know, I was so grateful that the folks at the City of Carbondale wanted to take that opportunity with me, you know, coming from that theater background and that music background. It's so much like self-promotion, but they could tell that I love this city and how active I am in the city, and already was promoting things about Carbondale
Oh, yeah.
all the time, right? Like my
Absolutely.
friend shows, my own shows, the theater productions, like all of that. You know, just came in full pom-poms, big time cheerleader for Carbondale. And yeah, so I got to come into this role and have learned so much and connected with this just giant web of the community that I knew was there, but didn't quite know how to access yet, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, came in right at the eclipse. I'm sure we'll talk about that more.
Oh my gosh, of course. How could we not? You know, we had not one but two eclipses here in the
Yeah.
heart of Carbondale.
Yeah.
So
But there's my initial spiel. You know, we can dig
love
into some of
that.
those nuggets more in this combo. So what about you, Dina? Tell us about you and how you got here to the Sea-Dale.
yeah, well, thanks for sharing your perspective
Yeah.
too about how you got to where you are now. I'm so thrilled that we get to work together on so many different projects and
Yeah.
really at such a pivotal time here in Carbondale. So we'll go back a little bit. I moved to Carbondale back in 2009 to attend SIU. Throughout my youth, I grew up in the Chicago suburbs, but had family down here. So my roots are from Southern Illinois, and we would spend summers, we would spend all throughout the calendar year driving up and down 57 to
Yep.
come visit folks here in Southern Illinois. So the taste of Southern Illinois really started with the roots of my family. So when I came to school in 2009, I came to SIU. I went into physical education, really with the heart and passion of wanting to provide outdoor experiences for people. I didn't know at the time like what that really meant. I just knew that I always wanted to bring people together for large events in the outdoors. So I switched from physical education into the recreation field and really got my toes wet from that. I got to lead tons of different trips for SIU's Touch of Nature. We've got to take folks from Southern Illinois, from students to residents on trips all throughout the United States.
Yeah.
We got to go out to Utah, down to Texas, to the Appalachian Mountains, really just to explore and provide unique experiences for folks. After college, you know, I thought I was going to be a California girl. So I went and moved to Southern California for a little over a year, and then was really just drawn back to Carbondale. So that Carbondale vortex really called me back home. It was the community. It was all of the different units of people that come together for all these vast experiences that really drove me back home. When I lived in California, I had, you know, tons of great experiences out in the wilderness, all different areas, but really the accessible component to the outdoors is what allowed me to come back to Southern Illinois, because here you travel, you know, 10, 15 minutes in any direction, and you get to choose between all these different lakes, the Shawnee National Forest, you know, we have the Green Earth Trails here in Carbondale, SIU's gorgeous campus, all really accessible
Yeah.
to anyone that lives here.
Yeah.
So that drew me back to Southern Illinois. I got to continue my education down at SIU's Touch of Nature to go and receive a master's degree as a graduate assistant. Throughout that time, I worked different AmeriCorps jobs, and then found myself really falling in love with the music scene. So I got to travel across the United States to help produce different music festivals, to help promote different bands. I also hopped on as a marketing agent for some of these bands, as well as a booking agent, and then a manager for one. And so the music scene really called me back to Southern Illinois, because we got to have those hands-on experiences. So hubbing out of Southern Illinois has been such a great move for my life, because we're 2.5 hours from Nashville, we're 2 hours from St. Louis, 5 from Chicago. It really puts us at that great hub of the Midwest to then go out and adventure wherever you'd like.
Yes.
So with that experience, I had then went and helped open the Shawnee Cave Amphitheater with logistics and event directions. So that was just such a grateful opportunity to really take all that skill set from leading these different trips, from working out at Touch of Nature, working the summer camps, to the hospitality program, to really bring these high-end experiences to Southern Illinois, but to tourists alike. So I started promoting the region through the Shawnee Cave Amphitheater, and then moving into more of that tourism role. And when the City of Carbondale was creating a tourism division, the job description was pretty much written for me, it seemed like, because I checked all the boxes of the experiences that they were looking for and where they were looking to grow in the future. And so I'm super honored that this position became available and that I had applied, interviewed, and was able to join the team. We're now both housed in the economic development team, and it's just been such an honor to be able to serve our community in this capacity. So that's a little bit of a background from SIU to my master's, to the music scene, the outdoors, and then full circle coming here to create for our community. So yeah, I'm really excited about the future of Carbondale. We're building, the downtown entertainment and events plaza, so that professional stage. We're here right now live from Sims in the multimodal co-working space. And so I've kind of been Carbondale's promoter through these other entities that I was working for, by providing information for people to, again, recreate and have fun. And so being able to carry that now into this role as we build a tourism center here in Sims, as we build the stage, it's a dream come true.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, it's like you've packed so much into, it's not like you've been in Southern Illinois or Carbondale for that extremely long of a time, a good chunk of time, but not that long. And it's just like your story is still so vast and rich and condensed with all these experiences.
Yeah, and it all leads back to Carbondale. I mentioned quite a few different times there where I've traveled to go, work a festival in other areas. And really what's so unique about this region is we have the Shawnee National Forest that spans across the entire Southern Illinois. So you have all these small towns in the middle of a national forest, which all these other places that we would travel to, you'd have a hyper-focused area of that recreation space, or that national park, where Southern Illinois, you have all these towns, so each one has a piece of that big puzzle. And then with Carbondale, we're located directly in the center of all of that action. So yeah, just super grateful again for what we have in our backyard and what we're able to create as a community, not just Carbondale, but Southern Illinois.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, like you said, you're like, okay, all my experiences in this, and it perfectly positioned myself in this hub. And yeah, like you mentioned, we are here in the Sims, Southern Illinois Multimodal Station. You maybe heard the train go by, not sure. I hope you did. Nice little nod to our Amtrak there. Yeah, and so I just kind of want to talk more about that hub, and like we just said, Southern Illinois is all these little puzzle pieces of this town together, and what it means for us in Carbondale at this specific moment in time. It's pretty wild. We have this conversation randomly at times. We're walking across the street and we're like, we're here while this giant, beautiful station is being built and this amazing stage is being built. Like, sometimes I'm like, wow, pinch myself. It's wild to think like we're the ones here at this moment in time getting to share these things and see it go up and build before our very eyes. Like, we get to see
so
it
powerful.
Come into this world.
It really is powerful. And I mean, we couldn't be in these roles doing what we're doing if it wasn't for, the years and years and years
Yes.
of planning and work that our team has all conducted to lay that foundation. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Here we are at this moment where we're seeing it before our very eyes all happen and construct.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really want to promote and cheerlead and really, pay that respect and honor the people that really set this foundation, because none of this would be possible if it wasn't for them.
Yeah,
and we just so happened to come in at the time where now we get to take their stories and rise them and allow them to shine, because the region needs to hear, all the details. The region needs to be able to understand that there's so much intentionality that goes into planning for these projects, and we're just ready to, kind of set it all up for success, so that the future can just continue to flourish here.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, that did just like click something in my brain of, coming into all this with my theater background and just what that means for me in my life as a human in this world, getting to share stories. Because like doing theater for me means like getting to be a vessel to share other stories, to connect those human emotions to someone taking that in, right? And you just said that of how this is years of work, and I'm like, yeah, just like with a new musical being produced, years and years of writing the script, rewrites, writing the music, rewrites, pitching it to producers, workshopping it in one theater. Maybe it flops, you take it to a new one, maybe you have a new director, things are seen in a new light, and just all those components. And then you bring your actors in and they get to tell that story.
I mean, that's so true. That's such a great, comparison too, because that's kind of what we're doing, right? We're not acting, but we're able to share that story as those actors do for those screenwriters.
Yeah.
I love that. It's so beautiful. I also wanted to touch on just, again, that the community here, there's so much going on that we can't tell everyone's stories, of course, and that's their stories to tell themselves. So hopefully we can both be those vessels to, again, just bring those stories to fruition so that others can hear it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, right now as we're sitting here in the midst of Celebrate 618 Week, which big shout out and kudos to the Carbondale Chamber of Commerce. They've done an awesome job of, kind of rounding up our local businesses and artisans and retailers, restaurants, etc., and helping them figure out some fun ways to get creative and share some specials and deals to really incentivize that group buy-in for people to go out, celebrate those businesses. And we're also in the midst of the Juneteenth Freedom to Freedom celebration series. So Juneteenth has been recognized now as a national holiday for the past several years. And I'm just so happy that this year so many people were doing so many different things to celebrate this. And Mayor Harvey, with a lot of help I know from the Black Chamber of Commerce and African American Museum of Southern Illinois, and some other help with team members at the city like Diana McGrean, they were like, let's all come together, put together this big, beautiful calendar. So there's just so much within this one short little week really packed in and being celebrated. The Juneteenth Freedom to Freedom expands beyond the week even. It started June 7th and it goes to July 4th.
Fantastic.
And just some wonderful things. I got to talk to Mayor Harvey and Nancy Maxwell, who's a current council member and president of Carbondale United. They've done some amazing storytelling. They're launching a new documentary called The Struggle Is Not Over, interviewing some local people just about struggles that they still face and the history behind that and the weight behind that and the growth that has occurred, but the growth, that we see on the horizon that we are still reaching for. But it's just so cool to see all of a sudden things like that, like this beautiful high-end documentary being made telling our citizens' stories.
That is so beautiful. And that's really what, the mission of this series is going to be, is to be able to share those stories and amplify them. I love the teamwork component too with that community calendar. I know, being new in our roles, we've been able to identify maybe some gaps in the community of just how information is shared to people or how they access that. So I know on our end, we've also been working with other organizations to then create the Carbondale community events team. And that's also with a mission to just bring together people that are already producing incredible events, but allow them those opportunities to network with other professionals that are also in that industry, but to also identify places for promotional items, like where can you hang an event flyer, to provide support for sharing Facebook events. The list is endless there, from volunteer sharing to logistics and just, details and struggles that we may be facing when planning our events. And so I really love the collaborative efforts that you're seeing happen on a larger scale, not only, from the event that you had been describing from our events team, but even with the university.
Absolutely.
We all are one here in Carbondale. And so a win for one of us is a win for all. We say that with our region as well. I just really love all of the collaborative efforts that we're able to see here, because a lot more is being done at a higher level when we're all coming together. Really excited to see where that goes in the future and what other collaborations come from this, and then offer up opportunities for maybe even that technology to come in as well. So we'll see what the future holds with that, but I do know that there's been, more and more talks about how convenient a one calendar is, how people are getting that information. And so, just identifying some of those gaps and being able to work together to foster some solutions for that.
Absolutely.
Let's see.
I think we've seen a nice new kind of era of connection here.
Ooh, speaking of new era too, part of this is also to, keep folks in on the know. So such as, new businesses that may be coming to town. We had that great big announcement about the new owners of Hangar 9 a couple weeks ago. So again, one of our live performance venues is going to be open this August for its new age and new era of ownership.
We're right across the street from a new gym that's opened up. I love it. It makes me want to go box, which I've not really had desire to do before, but it's just so cool looking. It's called a So-Will Syndicate in the old yellow taxi cab building. If y'all, from around here, you know what we're talking about. Right next to Cristado's. And
I was going to say, there's also, I saw before we started filming this, there's going to be a new coffee house on the Strip. They just announced that they have received, the final kind of check marks from the city, from the county, and so we should be seeing that within the next month as well. So lots of exciting things happening here on the Strip.
There's really been so many new things popping up, and of course it's been really visibly easy to see the building that we're in popping up because it's giant, and the stage popping up because it's giant. But there's lots of things that have popped up or revamped or moved into new locations on the Strip that maybe haven't been quite as obvious. If you haven't been up and down the Strip in a while, just take a little saunter, take a gander, check it out.
And feel free too to always reach out to us if you have any questions, like, hey, what's new in Carbondale? I know both of us are very open to providing that to folks as well, just that information, because there's so much. I know we do our best to try and keep up, but there's even things that we're unaware of. So
absolutely.
If you're a new business out there or someone that would like to be on the radar, please let us know. We do our best to try and find it all, but it's very hard to keep up just because of all of that movement.
For sure. There's really always something going on.
There is. I guess we're kind of coming close to the end.
Sure.
So to wrap things up, let's maybe end with, what is your favorite thing about Carbondale?
My favorite thing about Carbondale specifically, Okay, well, just because I love music the most out of anything in my life, and I'm so intertwined in the Carbondale music scene, I think I am going to say the Carbondale music scene.
Great.
It's really special and unique. It's so collaborative. Like, you can see one person play in like 5 different bands
I love that.
throughout the course of a couple months, you know?
Yes.
And yeah, people, it's really beautiful just seeing people help each other out, learn new instruments, learn how to record, how to book gigs, you know, cover for each other if you can't make a gig, etc. So
That's
yeah,
beautiful.
it's mine. What about you?
Okay, for me, I would say, oh, I had it and then it went away, but I have it, don't worry. Okay, that's what it was. Is I just love the essence of Carbondale.
Yeah.
I love how open everyone is to just being nice and kind humans.
Yeah.
Anytime I'm walking up and down the street, I'm always saying hello to people. Being a girl that was raised up in the Chicago suburbs, now the culture's just a little different there.
Yeah.
People are not necessarily just smiling, ready to say how you doing, ready to have a conversation, where in Carbondale, I feel like anytime I'm up and down the strip through downtown, I'm just having a conversation with someone. And it's just those little moments that really brighten my day. Because I am a social person. I'm an introverted extrovert, if that makes sense.
Yes.
But just again, that warm energy that I receive from people in Carbondale is so unique. I moved out to the West Coast. I moved, lived in Chicago, and Carbondale is just very, very unique, very welcoming, and just a great place to be.
It really is.
Yeah.
And that nature, man. I mean, we're Tree City. We are a Tree City,
It is
USA.
so
So yeah, just being able to step outside and find a little green corner of the world is such a delight.
This is our first one.
Greetings from Carbondale.
Greetings from Carbondale. I think we told folks what we're here, what we're doing, and we're excited to see where this adventure goes.
Absolutely. Just like those before us have laid the foundation, we are laying the foundation of this podcast. And yeah, we can't wait. We have a few ideas of people we'd like to bring on. But again, if you have a story you want to tell, or you know someone who you want to make sure their story is told, reach out to us.
Yeah. Well, we look forward to seeing where this goes. And before we depart, we're going to go ahead and say one more time, greetings from Carbondale. All right. Life